we have beer number 3, which is actually a bit of a treat. We're going to be videotaping this one. So all the ensemble people here, we have on here Ed Seaman.
Hello.
John Kowalski.
Good afternoon.
We have Tom Rao.
That's me.
We have Chuck Fort.
Hello.
And I'm standing in front of Mike Seaman.
Howdy.
Over here. And we'll talk about them as we go through the podcast. You have to find out about these guys. You've got to listen to the podcast. Now, this beer, it comes from the UK, from my favorite brewery, Harvey's in Lewes, East Sussex. And this is called Elizabethan Ale. Now, by the way, I'm holding this because I'm going to be doing some videoing as we open them up. Which I think, Ed, would you like to go ahead and do that?
I would.
Okay. Now, Elizabethan Ale is a barley wine from Harvey's, and it was produced first in 1953 for the coronation of Queen Elizabeth. It had been produced ever since, every year. This one is a 2013, and it was the 60th anniversary brew when she actually visited, Queen Elizabeth II visited Harvey's Brewery. And the beer that we're going to have after this is the 2023, when they brewed the very last one. Unfortunately, you guys don't get to taste that because I had it in the UK, but we'll have the video on and you can go and have a look at it. But I would like to get your opinion on Harvey's Ale, this one here, the Elizabethan Ale. So we have 2 bottles of it, so you can open that one as well, Ed. So everybody gets a good go at it.
We can share even more. I like it.
Oh, there you go.
There
and
you go.
so this is 7.5%. And it's interesting because I don't know that a 7.5% barley wine is going to stand the test of 10 years. I know that Tom, Greg Brown, your head brewer, he brewed a barley wine a couple of years ago, which Carolyn Stevens followed up last year, 2023, with Red Leaves. Mm-hmm. Now, his barley wine was a reproduction of London Pride?
I believe it was, yes.
Okay, and that was only 7-something. And so we're going to have to see whether or not this has actually stood the test of time. So let's see if we go around the, have a look at that. Oh, look at that. That's looking okay for a 10-year-old beer. So I'm going to pick that up, and as I go around, everybody's taking a look at it. I'm going to start over here because only by virtue of the fact that I'm right beside Mike. So Mike, tell us what you think about it. There was a pause whilst Mike thought.
It's definitely oxidized a bit.
Oh. Which means what?
So it means that it's been probably sitting around a little too long. So oxygen gets at the beer, kind of gives it a freezer burnt or cardboard-like character.
Okay.
So like literally think of chewing on cardboard or paper. That's
And I do
what
that
you
frequently. Yes.
it's still a drinkable beer though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's head over. We're going to bypass Ed for the moment. I want to come over to, if you could scooch in a bit, Ed. There we go. You're good. Okay. I'd like to come over to Tom because Tom, I know that you have got experience of barley wines from the one that Greg brewed. What is your opinion of this?
Well, I second the comments about the oxidation. It seems to have lost a little bit of its flair. I think it's it's a little sweet on the finish, but the front end is not quite what I would expect from a barley wine. It's I'm not sure how to phrase it, but it just seems a little flat, just a little off.
Yeah. And I know John is nodding his head here in agreement. I'm going to assume he is going to agree with that.
It's still tasty, but yeah, I concur with our other.
I tasted it, Chuck, and I think it's got an oomph to it.
I think that when you think of barley wine, initially you're prepared for something a little more of an assault on your senses. Maybe that's a bad way to put it, but it's quite welcome actually when you get a really big in-your-face barley wine. On the other hand, maybe that's not what this is intended to be. At 7%, it's not supposed to be that. It just is what it is. I got a little bit of like dark fruit and slight caramel on the nose. Wasn't like big in your face. Probably would have been like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it's still a quite pleasant beer.
Well, let's go to Ed. We haven't talked to Ed.
Oh, hello.
Ed is fresh back with his Chile expedition hat on. I think you went for a holiday to Chile, right?
We went for 18 days.
There you
in
go.
Chile. It was wonderful.
And was it?
Very good.
Chili?
It was chilly while we were eating chili, trying to remain from not being chilly.
All right.
In Chile.
What about the beer?
The beer was fantastic over there.
No, not the beer there. The beer you got in your hand.
Oh, this beer. This beer I like a lot. Believe it or not, the oxidation to me has some raisin character that I'm kind of enjoying. As Chuck mentioned, darker fruits. There is a slight bit of oxidation and maybe even a touch of acidity from the alcohol going into maybe a slight vinegar state, but it's pleasant. It's not overbearing.
So I would say that, yes, it's not a bad beer. I want to thank the Beer Temple because they're the only ones who had this in town, and I didn't realize it was a 2013 until I got it. It's been a great example of an English barley wine, I think, but as you say, perhaps it hasn't stood the test of time. In the next video, the one that was produced in 2023 certainly did, and we'll check that one in a minute. But gentlemen, I'd just like you to raise your glasses to the clear old Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Here's to the Queen. Here's to the Queen.
You're picking up the wrong beer.
I'm consuming. It's
Okay.
delicious enough to drink all.
Cut, and we'll go to the next one. Hello everybody. This is a segment that I recorded in the UK, and I'm sitting here with my brother. We're over here in January, and we're celebrating the life of our sister who recently passed away. Now, to do that, we need to have a special beer. And so my brother, a while ago, purchased me this beer here. Now, it looks like a bottle of champagne, but it's not. It's from my favorite brewery in Lewes, Sussex, called Harvey's Brewing. And this is their Elizabethan Ale. Now, the story behind that is that they used to produce an Elizabethan Ale for Queen Elizabeth every year since her coronation. And in honor of the fact that last year she passed away as well, they produced the last Elizabethan Ale, but it wasn't quite the same brew. I think the other one used to be an old ale or something similar like that. This one is a sparkling barley wine, and we're going to open this and raise a glass to our sister. Now this is very interesting because this is like a bottle of champagne. I've never had a sparkling barley wine. Have you had a sparkling barley wine?
I've never had a sparkling barley wine.
Tony has never had a
Never
sparkling.
tasted
No, right. So we're gonna crack this open here, hopefully, and I hope it's not going to
It
go
doesn't
all
do
over.
a champagne
No,
effect.
because we are sitting out in the what do you call this?
Conservative.
The conservatory. Thank you very much. Enjoying the evening January weather, which was quite nice today. So, and we've got a couple of glasses ready. Do you think you need to have your glass ready in case it goes off the top?
I will hold it for you just in
Right.
case it explodes.
And by the way, there were only 1,200 of these bottles produced. So this is actually quite an expensive beer, wasn't it?
It is a very
It was
expensive
actually £35. Do the conversion. So now now this thing on the top here, by the way, folks, is called a cork and carriage. I've got to get that off though. Right, there'll be a short break whilst I struggle to get this off. How do you do this? You have champagne all the time, don't you? Yeah, right. Okay, so now I'm going to open this. Hopefully it's not going to spooge everywhere. I am going to be very careful with it. So thank you, Harvey's. Here we go. Oh, beautiful. And there's a lovely bit of steam coming off the top. Right,
Nice little fizz.
let's give this a whirl. Do a nice pour here. Hopefully. Oh, it's coming out a very nice golden barley wine colour. Gosh, it's heavy. My hand is shaking. Here, have that.
It's got a big head.
It does. Well, barley wine tends to be quite fizzy because this, at the bottom on the back of the label, it says, be very careful, live yeast in the bottom. So, and if you've ever had live yeast in the bottom, you'll know what I mean. Oh, this one's coming out a little better. Maybe it was the first one. We'll see. Oh yeah, mine's come out a little bit better. But on the back of the label, so we'll hold that up for the camera. That's a beautiful barley wine color. Now, most barley wines in the States range from 9, 10, 11%. This one here is only 7.2%, which goes back to the days of the old Fuller's barley wine that they used to do. You remember what it's called? No. But that was about 7%. And anyway, this one, we'll put that down there. We're going to give it a go. We're going to go through. Cheers to our sister Brita.
Cheers to our sister, yeah.
And let's see. Now, we've got to get the aroma first. I've got to teach him how to do this properly, you know. I'm not getting any aroma because there's too much.
It's all head and froth.
Well, let's give it a go. Well, I've just taken it out of the fridge, so I don't think the flavours are coming out too much. We're going to have to let that settle a little bit.
Yeah.
But I get a nice malty kind of golden. It's got a little bit of like toffee note to it, don't you? A little bit of caramel, something like that.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
But
Not that I'm a barley wine connoisseur, but it's quite very nice.
It's
It
quite
is nice.
tasty, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
well, on the back here, I'll just read you what it says. Well, I would read what it says, but I don't have my glasses on. Hang on, cut. I'll get my glasses. Right, I've got my glasses finally, so I can let you know what this is. So this Harvey's Brewery has been going since 1745 in Lewes, Sussex.
Yep.
And on the label it says, Elizabethan Ale was first brewed for Queen Elizabeth II's coronation in 1953. As the nation entered a new Elizabethan age, it has been brewed ever since. The commemorative brew has seen the beer undergo a secondary fermentation and maturing process at Court Garden, introducing a second sparkling wine yeast. It was brewed on January 2022, so we're officially 2 years old on this bottle, to mark Her Late Majesty's Platinum Jubilee, and has been bottled in the aftermath of her glorious reign. As a mark of respect, it is the final Elizabethan ale that will be brewed. The 2022 vintage is limited to 1,200 bottles and is our lasting tribute to a much-loved monarch and a much-loved sister. So I think this is an excellent brew. Do you?
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
And I know you don't drink barley wines too much. No, you're more of a bitter man.
I'm a bitter person.
He's a very bitter person. So I think we're going to top this up. This is going to be something that unfortunately tasters back in the US will not be able to have because I'm drinking the whole bottle. Would you like a little more? There we go. Yeah. Absolutely. So the Queen
The Queen.
and Greta. Cheers everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks
Cheers.
for watching.
Cheers.